afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. This is David here with TechFront.net. And today I want to talk about something a little unique, something we have never talked about before, and hopefully you can see it here on the screen. Please forgive me. This is kind of our first attempt at quality screen recording here. So hopefully things go well. If you have suggestions, please leave them down in the comments. We will be more than happy to assist you. Now, let's roll on, folks. What we have here, we're going to talk about Unify. And Unify is basically the ubiquity version of software-defined networks. And let me explain what that is. Now, we've all heard, if you're in the networking world or the IT industry, most of you have heard the term Unify. And what that does is take a bunch of devices, whether it be your security gateway, your switches, your access points, your door controls, your cameras, your phones, all kinds of devices, and throw them into one easy to use pane of glass for management. There are some people out there that have made businesses off of managing these type of infrastructures for clients. We do that as well. And we're going to keep this at a high level. This is not something where we're going to log into a unified device and get down to, how to configure it and how to make it do certain things. We're going to talk about what it is you get and what you need to get a unified deployment started. But first, we need to talk about the various types of unified deployments. Unify requires something called a Unify cloud controller. What that is that's your software that allows your device to be managed or controlled either by you or someone in your company or someone you hire out to manage those devices. You control the devices there, you do the maintenance, you do the updates, you do the configuration right inside of the software here. Or you get something like the Unify Gateway or the commonly known as the Dream Machine or the Dream Machine Pro that allows you to manage your network right on the device here. And when you buy the Dream Machine, you basically get everything you need except for the hard drive here that goes in the hard drive bay. You can get the hard drive that goes in here to do the security recording portions of Unify. You can buy the security cameras, set them up and adopt them and control everything in this device. As you see, you get an included 8-port switch, LAN port. It does support redundant power. You do see that, and you do see an SFP module over here. So you do get quite a bit of functionality and flexibility right out of the box. You can also do backup LTE with the LTE piece of equipment. We will talk about that in a later video. I don't want to get too far in left field here because we're just hitting this on the high notes. But basically what you get is the ability to manage everything, as you see here, inside of a single pane of glass. This also includes mobile apps for those that need them for both Android and iOS. And here's an idea of what a deployment could look like. You've got your UDM Pro, you've got your managed switch, and off of your switch you've got your access points for your Wi-Fi, your computers that connect to your Wi-Fi, as well as your cameras, as I just mentioned, that would naturally be recording back to the hard drive on the Dream Machine. And as I mentioned, you've got the cloud key option for those that don't want to use a Dream Machine to manage the network. And you've got the older style devices, or you just want to do Wi-Fi, or you just want to do cameras. Something to keep in mind, it comes in another flavor. Now this is kind of the regular Dream Machine. That is meant more for a home or small office that comes with your Wi-Fi built in. It does not come with the redundant power. It does come with the 4-port switch on the back. Of course, it does not have the Ethernet ports or the touchscreen display here that the Pro model would offer you. And as I just mentioned, there's the cloud queue for those that do it remote management and are kind of doing it what you might call today the old-fashioned way. Most folks are adopting the Dream Machine Professional or the Dream Machine that are getting into Unify for the first time. There's plenty of older folks out there that have been around that are still using the Cloud Key and the Cloud Key Gen 2 Plus to manage their networks. So, what does it take to get started in a Unify deployment? Well, let's scroll down here. Basically, you could get started with just the UDM Pro or the Dream Machine, as I mentioned, and have just your basic Unify firewall up and running, basic security for your network, IDS, IDP, VPN, firewall rules, remote access, etc. And you could have that with just the UDM Pro. If you want the full management, of course, you would need to add a switch. Now, the switches come in various flavors. They come in 8-port, they come in 16-port, they come in 48-port. Let's see, we have various varieties here, as you can see, depending on what you're looking for. 24 to 48 port. We have fiber uplinks. We have PoE on some of these switches. PoE plus, SFP plus support. It's just a matter of what your use case is. You can get a view of your switch using your iPhone here and get an idea of what's going on each port. Here's a basic breakdown with your flex being your lightweight line, maybe sitting in an office somewhere between a few computers, all the way up to your enterprise line that would be basically sitting on the edge of your network or in a high traffic area in most cases. So you'd have the UDM Pro, you'd have a switch of some sort depending on how much management you needed and how big of a company you had and what your security requirements were, whether you needed PoE or not, and how many ports you needed based on the devices you were hooking up. Then you move on out here to possibly wanting some sort of Wi-Fi. In most cases, you're going to want some sort of Wi-Fi. So you would have your U6 Lite for Wi-Fi 6. You could have your long range Wi-Fi 6, an in-wall unit with 4 Ethernet jacks, a Flex HD that does have the ability to go outside. If you're using some sort of stadium or high density Wi-Fi, you've got the base station XG. Now let me tell you, that's a big horse. That's for your stadiums, your racetracks, your big, dense, all-out environments, indoor or outdoor. And then you've got your little beacon here that is kind of like a wireless extender that plugs right into your AC adapter. It will extend the Wi-Fi coming off of another access point. And this gives you a breakdown of how you would deploy these things. You would maybe have an access point in the ceiling sitting on a desk. Maybe that access point talks to the beacon. Maybe if you're in a high density environment, you've got your XG coming off your UDM Pro or a UDM switch. Either way, whatever works for you. And you've got a basic idea here of what each access point offers you: capacity, MIMO settings, what wave it is, wave 2, whether it's AC, whether it's Wi-Fi 6, it's 2.4 gigahertz ratings, it's 5 gigahertz ratings, outdoor certified, and whether it works in the mesh environment. So, let's kind of jump back and kind of wrap this up here. We're going to go more into detail with each of these in a later video, but kind of what I wanted to talk about here is what it takes to get Unify started. You can start big, you can start small, but for most people, you're looking at a console here. I call it a firewall, a Dream Machine Pro. Again, that gets you your single pane of glass management. And here's some idea of how a typical deployment might look. You would have some sort of switch sitting in here. That would be your Unify switch, and in most cases you're going to have a Unify access point connected as well. And then, like I said, in a later video, we will jump in, we will talk about how to deploy these. We will go through a deployment, a small deployment with just a basic DHCP internet provider, cable, DSL, maybe some fiber, and discuss what it takes to get Unify online. Again, we're kind of new to these style of videos, so if you like it, you've got some suggestions, leave me a comment down below. I would greatly appreciate it. And again, just a brief idea of Unify, what Unify is about, what it takes to do a basic Unify deployment. And if we've helped you, let us know. Visit our website, i95computers.com. And if you're ready for your deployment or need some information, we will be happy to assist you. Take care, folks. Have a good day. Bye-bye.